Time's up. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. You can rant, rave, and you can scream all you want, but nothing can stop the one big beautiful bill. Literally nothing is going to stop the one big beautiful bill from happening. What's up? This is Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. I think my mic's a little hot. Hang on, I gotta adjust my headphones. I gotta adjust my volume. I'm still working on location. I am live for another day at Patriot Outpost Mike Bravo. And it looks like, hold on, I'm really hot today. I'm hot because I'm always hot. But I'm a little hot on the microphone. I want to make sure that I don't blow your eardrums out because we got a lot to cover today. Speaking of blowing your eardrums out, Hakeem Jeffries has been bloviating for hours now, like 6 hours. Hold on, let's check in with him. Let's see. There's a timer. It's 8 hours. Pardon me. It's 8 hours. This guy's been going off about the one big beautiful bill and about how horrible it is for Americans, even though it's great for Americans.
Tell us what you see. Can I talk about it for a moment?
Oh, look at him. Now he's at church. You got time, brother Hakeem.
I do see something else, kind of what I'm seeing connected to this one big ugly bill.
He's getting delirious, by the way. He's been filibustering now.
I don't know if this was an inspiration to this extraordinary assault on the American people, this corrupt piece of legislation. But when I look over my Bible.
Oh, he's looking at his Bible now. This is great.
And this is going to come from John. It's not going to come from 2 Corinthians.
No.
Although the Apostle Paul has a lot to say about that. And, Mr. Speaker, I said 2 Corinthians, not 2 Corinthians.
Come on now. Come on now.
I don't know who I'm talking about. But if you're going to sell the Bible, you should know the Bible.
Anyway, so Hakeem Jeffries has been doing this for like 8 hours now, and hold on, we'll get back to him in just a minute because he's trying to delay the inevitable. He's trying to delay the passage of the one big beautiful bill, which will pass. There's no way that the one big beautiful bill is not going to pass. In fact, I was on the beach earlier today. Oh, and I do owe you an apology, because I may have been inaccurate in something that I said the other day. The other day when I was in here broadcasting, I said that I was one pina colada in before I started broadcasting. But that's not technically that's not true, because what happens is my bartender, his name's Mike. We've been coming here for over a decade. I think this is my 12th year here at this resort. And Mike is the bartender. He's a great guy. And every time I go and order a pina colada, there's some extra left over. I don't know if you've ever encountered this, but you order a pina colada. In fact, we order two because there's one for me, one for the missus. And what happens is there's always some leftover in the blender. And typically they fill up the cups, and who knows what happens to the leftover in the blender. But Mike will take the leftover in the blender. He'll pour it into a third, smaller cup. He'll even add whipped cream and a little bit of a Myers rum floater on top, as if it's like a bonus or extra, or, like 2.5. So, and I drink that first. It's like my little appetizer. So really, when I say I'm one pina colada in, I'm really like 1 1/3 pina coladas in. So I just want to make that clear, because some people, I just want to make sure I'm all about the truth here. And I don't want you to think that I'm pulling one over on you. But also these are delicious. These are delicious pina coladas that they make here at Patriot Outpost Mike Bravo. But Hakeem Jeffries, man, he has been out there. He's trying to delay something that after about 3 o'clock in the morning, we knew was going to happen no matter what. There's no way that Hakeem Jeffries can stop this, even though he's filibustering, even though Hakeem Jeffries doesn't believe in filibusters. You may remember this tweet from Hakeem Jeffries on 12/23/21. This was back December 23rd, 2021. He wrote, "The filibuster is a Jim Crow era relic that has been used to stop progress for decades. Enough." So Hakeem Jeffries back in 2021 felt that the filibuster was a Jim Crow era relic that has been used to stop progress for decades. And yet here now in 2025, the very same Hakeem Jeffries is using the quote unquote filibuster to stop progress. Who knew that Jim Crow was alive and well in Hakeem Jeffries' playbook? Who knew that Hakeem Jeffries was a racist just like the legislators of old who used the Jim Crow era tactic of the filibuster to stop progress. Now Hakeem Jeffries himself apparently is a big racist who's all about stopping the advancement of African American vote. Who knows what's going on with this guy? But he's said some wild things. That's what happens when you filibuster. And I've never filibustered myself. I have spoken at length. I've spoken for 1, 2, 3 hours at a time, but even 4, 5, 6. When I used to work for the liberal lunatics who fired me for being way too entertaining and conservative, the George Soros crowd. When before they fired me, they would have me come in during hurricanes and they would ask me to talk about rain for like 6 hours at a time. I'm like, you want me to talk about rain? They're like, yeah, just talk about rain for 6 hours at a time. And I would go and I would talk about rain. 6 hours of rain coverage. And it was really, really mind-numbingly painful, but that's what we did. So I know what it's like to filibuster or to try to fill time or to try to come up with something that is unique to say. But Hakeem Jeffries, when you're up there for 8 hours and you're trying to bloviate against this one big beautiful bill, which is going to pass, you do start saying some wild things. Like, for example, he called Congress a crime scene.
And Mr. Speaker, we want no part of it, which is why we're fighting so hard to stop it. Serving in the United States Congress on this glorious floor, having to be part of a crime scene.
A crime scene. I don't know what crime it is that he's referring to. Maybe it's the crime of cutting taxes to historic lows and codifying the Donald Trump tax cut so Americans have more money in their pockets. Maybe that's the crime. Maybe it's the crime of securing the border and continuing to deport illegal aliens. What a crime that is. What an anti-American, what a criminal activity it is to deport criminals out of the country. Maybe it's the crime of solidifying the economy and reducing tax on tips. In fact, getting rid of tax on tips, rid of tax on overtime and for Social Security beneficiaries. Maybe those are the crimes he's talking about. Remember, when Democrats talk about crimes, they're not talking about the crimes you and I think about. Like when you and I think of a crime, what do we think of? Armed robbery, murder. That's a good crime. What's another good crime that we do? Did I say armed robbery? Yeah, I guess so. All that kind of, drug trafficking, human trafficking, kidnapping. Those are all crimes that you want to kind of get under control. You don't want those crimes to happen anymore. School shootings, that's a bad crime. When Democrats talk about crime, they talk about reducing taxes. It's a crime, I tell you, to let people spend their own money. It's a crime to let people make decisions with their own investments. The people are stupid. The government knows what's up. And if you don't let the government take the people's money and do with it what they please, then that's criminal. And that's why Hakeem Jeffries believes he's part of a crime scene. Gutting Medicaid. He doesn't believe that Medicaid should be reformed. He wants more of your tax dollars going to more Medicaid for more illegal aliens. And he's going to stand up there and scream and yell about it till he gets his way.
Effectively, in Medicaid as we know it, gut parts of the Affordable Care Act. What you essentially are doing by stripping health care away from the American people.
He's like, this guy, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. By the way, the Affordable Care Act, I never really realized how much of a scam the Affordable Care Act was until recently, because I've had recent developments with my own health insurance now that I am a self-employed entrepreneur. Now that I'm supplying medical insurance for my own family, now that I have kids going off to college and there's certain medical requirements, here's what I learned about the ACA. The Affordable Care Act has certain requirements, and private health insurance companies are not allowed to cover those certain requirements. Why? Because they want people logging on to and into these marketplace plans that are part of the Affordable Care Act. They are basically stymieing you from getting private insurance that covers you to the point that the ACA does. And that to me is a travesty. And that to me is criminal. But then Hakeem Jeffries said something which I guess to Democrats, this is a bad thing. But to me and a bunch of other Republicans on X and throughout the country, this seemed like, I don't know what it was. I guess he thought he was trying to make a valid point about how bad this bill is, how the one big beautiful bill was horrible for people. But this to me is like a selling point. Listen to what he said very carefully.
Speaker, that's not what this country should be all about. Manu wasn't the only one. The only American citizen who's been targeted by the deportation machine, a deportation machine that will be unleashed on steroids by this one big ugly bill. We know that, in fact, is the case. That's not hyperbole.
That's not hyperbole. He's like, look, we know that if this one big, beautiful bill passes, which it's gonna, if we know that if the one big, beautiful bill passes, the deportation machine will be unleashed and it will be on steroids. Which means if you thought the deportation machine that was unleashed on the United States of America and was rallying up all of these illegal criminal aliens and gang members and drug dealers and human traffickers and sending them back from whence they came, if you thought that deportation machine was amazing, you ain't seen nothing yet, because the one big, beautiful bill is going to unleash a deportation machine on steroids. Is he trying to get people to vote for this thing, or is he trying to get people to vote against it? I really can't tell. Neither can J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States. He just got this text message. J.D. Vance wrote on X, GOP congressman just texted me. I was undecided on the bill, but then I watched Hakeem Jeffries' performance, and now I'm a firm yes. He's taking the undecideds and he's turning them into decideds. He's taking the no's or the maybes or the I don't knows and he's turning them into yeses. Hakeem Jeffries is doing the job of the Speaker of the House. He's doing the job of Donald Trump. He's doing the job of every Republican in Donald Trump's administration who has been trying to sell this bill to the representatives in Congress for, 14 months now? Ever since before Donald Trump got into office. It's really insane how this has been blowing up in Hakeem Jeffries' face. And he continues. Well, he's not stopping. He's still there. Here he is. They're still clapping for him.
I'm thankful. Thankful to all of my colleagues for their commitment, their courage, their conviction, standing up on behalf of the American people to deliver, hopefully, what is a message of concern, but also a message of hope.
Come on. That's right. Oh.
We got to fight a lot of battles on behalf of the American people. It's not over.
It's not over.
Fighting a lot of battles on behalf of the American people. This is just one of them.
So he's happy and he's thrilled about his colleagues, and he's you know what? He's thankful for his colleagues and their commitment. You know who's not thankful? His colleagues. You know why? Because Hakeem Jeffries didn't give them a heads up. They didn't let him know he was going to do this. They didn't know he was going to go out there and talk for 8 hours straight, and they're a little miffed. Hakeem Jeffries denied his caucus the opportunity to prepare and plan accordingly for his 8-hour Jim Crow, racist, anti-American filibuster. Axios reports, no one is upset Hakeem wanted to do this, but to not tell members, be prepared, book multiple flights, be flexible. One House Democrat vented, grumbling that it is particularly hard to rebook flights on July 4th. Another House Democrat fumed that a heads up would have been nice. The Democrat leader did face a bit of frustration from his own caucus for leaving his inner circle in the dark about his plans. So Hakeem Jeffries, he wants to filibuster. He wants to do what he can. He wants to try to stop the one big, beautiful bill, the unstoppable one big, beautiful bill. And he doesn't let anyone know what he's doing. So now his Democrat colleagues walk in there. They hear him speak. They hear him speak. They hear him going. They hear him talking. They see he's not stopping. They see he's filibustering. They see he's going to go. And all of a sudden they're like, holy shnikes, I'm going to miss my flight. A heads up would have been nice, Hakeem. Especially since this is a big waste of time. And we know it's a big waste of time because Mike Johnson was asked about this. And Speaker Johnson said, this is just a big waste of time.
Speaker Johnson, are you feeling confident about where you guys are right now?
Yes, we're very confident. When we get together with the American people, if Hakeem Jeffries will stop speaking.
Do you have a sense of how long it's going to go?
I don't know what he has in mind. He may be trying to go for the record. I think Kevin McCarthy holds the record, and it's an utter waste of everyone's time. But, that's part of the system here.
How many votes do you think you might lose on this final vote?
Maybe one or two, but we'll have the votes and we'll get this. We'll land this plane before July 4th, as I told you all we would do.
Are you guys trying to still win over Brian?
I am. Brian's a great member and a classmate of mine, a trusted friend, and you know he has concerns, and I let everybody vote their conscience, but you know I've certainly tried to encourage him to get to a yes.
Is it on the Medicaid piece of things that he's concerned
I think he's
about?
got a number of things that he's just concerned about, and he's in good faith, and it doesn't change anything about his effectiveness as a member or a relationship or anything. He's a great friend.
At this point, are you still having any conversations via text, trying to encourage last people to win?
I think everybody knows where they are at this point, and we're just ready to get it done and deliver this product for the people. So we're excited about it.
Well, can you talk about what some of the conservative holdouts, what sort of changed their minds in the middle of the night? Obviously, that vote opened a really long time.
Well, I genuinely believe that because the Senate sent us a modified product, a lot of people just needed time to digest that, needed to understand exactly what those amendments and modifications were and what it would mean for the bill and for the people. It was a reasonable amount of time for them to do that, so I gave them the space to do it. The president helped answer questions, and we had cabinet secretaries involved and experts in all the fields, and I think they got their questions answered. So it was helpful and productive. It was part of the process. So.
You got any sleep?
No, I haven't been asleep. Can you tell? Yes.
Yeah. So Mike Johnson saying, look, that's the nice way of saying I blame Speaker Thune, and that's something that I believe as well too. If you look at where we started and where we are and why we had these holdouts last night, because we had holdouts. It was 3:00 in the morning. In fact, this is kind of funny. My son and I were watching. We were up late because on vacation we watch C-SPAN. Which is something I don't know. We were talking about. We're like, do you think anyone else is sitting here at this illustrious beach resort at Patriot Outpost Mike Bravo? Do you think anyone else is here watching C-SPAN? And we decided we were probably the only two people in the entire complex that were. But it doesn't matter. That's what you got to do. And we're watching C-SPAN and we're watching the votes. And there were 9 no votes and 4 nays, and then there were 5 nays and 8 no votes. Then Thomas Massey kept flipping back and forth. It was just craziness. And we went to bed. We left C-SPAN on. And in the middle of the night, like 3:00, I started hearing this voice screaming and this gavel. And I go, what's going on? And I jumped out. I came to the living room and boom, there was C-SPAN. The House was back in session and they were gaveling down because they'd finally gotten just every single vote except one. Every single Republican except one jumped on board. That one was Representative Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania, who was annoyed that Donald Trump did not have Ukraine spending in the bill. Talk about tone deaf. Talk about somebody who's late to the game. Talk about somebody who's hitched his cart to the wrong horse, or hitched his horse to the wrong wagon, or what. I don't even know what the saying is, but he's doing it wrong. The fact that his holdout was because of Ukraine spending just shows that he's not even complaining about things that other people are complaining about with somewhat, reasonable arguments. Ukraine spending, that's an issue from like 2 years ago. Nobody cares about Ukraine anymore. We're waiting for that war to die out. We're not gonna send any more assets over to Vladimir Zelensky. We're looking at beefing up our own security. We're looking at building our own Golden Dome. We're looking at doing stuff for Americans. We're looking at cutting taxes on tips and taxes on overtime and taxes on Social Security and all that other great stuff. We don't have any extra income to send to Vladimir Zelensky so that he can buy more Lamborghinis and he and his generals can drive around the south of France in the summertime. That's not what we're looking for. Incidentally, his political career, not Zelensky's, but Representative Fitzpatrick, is over. Probably Zelensky's is too, though, now that I think about it. But that's it. They're out there fighting. They're out there fighting. They think that they can do something. You know who's really mad is Brittany Peterson. Do you remember Brittany Peterson? She's the lady that used her newborn baby as a political prop to get proxy voting for new moms. She co-sponsored the bill with Anna Paulina Luna, and she brought her baby in from Colorado, and she hauled this poor kid around Congress for days. She was in front of the camera doing interviews with this baby, this newborn baby. She's like, I got on a plane with my newborn baby. It sucks. This is my newborn baby. We're supposed to be bonding. And everyone's like, well, why are you hauling her around Congress or hauling him around Congress? Well, she's mad now that she had to come back and vote on the one big beautiful bill.
Hi, everybody. I lost my voice. We were forced back here. Took a red-eye flight. Haven't slept. We're here being forced back to vote on this disastrous budget proposal that is going to decimate our rural hospitals, healthcare that families, millions of families across the United States rely on, and increased costs for all of us for the private insurance market when we have this much uncompensated care. It's hard to hold back the tears with how bad this bill really is, the impact that it will make in Colorado and especially in rural Colorado. So I will keep you updated, but right now we have 2 people who are likely going to vote no. We just need 2 more. Your voices matter, and reaching out, telling your stories makes a difference. So thank you for tuning in, for fighting back, and I will keep you updated.
Why is this woman in Congress? I've never met somebody who hates being in Congress more than Brittany Peterson. She hated being in Congress when she had a baby. She's like, you're going to make me go to Washington, D.C. and vote? I have a newborn baby to take care of. You're going to make me go and do the job that I was duly elected by the citizens in my district to do? Or do you have you no shame? I'm a new mom and you want me to vote on important legislation which I was elected to do? No, I want a proxy vote. And now she's being called back again on a red eye from Colorado. Nobody told her to run for Congress. This is the deal. You are on call. You are not, it's a 24/7 job. If you're called back to session and you've got to vote on a one big beautiful bill, if you're called back to session, you got to vote on something. If there's, God forbid, we had to go to war and she was called back to vote on a declaration of war, she'd be out there crying, going, I had to take a red eye and my baby's at home and my voice is, this is horrible. No one that emotional should be in Congress. That's just look, there's a lot of tough women in Congress. I was, you know what? I was going back and forth with a couple of my friends in Congress today. I wrote to Congresswoman Kat Kamak, who is like 8 months pregnant, we'll say. Kat Kamak is 8 months pregnant. She's carrying a child. And I wrote to her, I said, are we going to pass this bill today? She goes, yeah. And I said, are you going to be in Tampa next week? She goes, no, I can't fly anymore because I'm so pregnant. So I'm staying in DC. She could have come home and said, I'm not going back to D.C. because I can't fly. But she said, no, I'm needed in D.C. I have to vote. I was elected by the folks in Florida's 3rd District to represent the folks in Florida's 3rd District. And dadgummit, that's exactly what I'm going to do, pregnant or not. And her baby's going to be born in Washington, D.C. because she is truly fighting for the people in Florida's 3rd District. And she's not going to be able to go home for July 4th. She's not going to be able to go home for July 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th. She's not going to go home until she has this child because that's the sacrifice you make. And her family is going to have to travel to her. Her family is going to have to come up to D.C. And that is because she took an oath to represent the people and to be there to vote. And Brittany Peterson's crying about having to take a red eye from Colorado. That's the job. Also, don't cry to me about taking the airplane because I know for a fact, because as a congressman to be, as a future congressman, I've done some digging. And I found out that, look, this is not why I'm running, but there are some perks to becoming a congressman. For example, if you're a congressman or woman, in Brittany Peterson's case, there is a number you can call and they will book you on a flight. They will get you on a plane. They have a special congressional airline representative whose job it is to make sure that Congress people can fly around the country at their leisure. Also, it's all paid for. You get travel expenses. You get millions of dollars to spend on travel every single year and making sure that you are where you need to be. You get special dispensation for being a congressperson. You're able to get from the airport to the Capitol building back and forth. I mean, it's not. Is it uncomfortable? Is it maybe a pain in the butt? Does it get in the way of your, mommy and me play dates? Maybe. But as far as getting to and from Congress, they make it as easy as humanly possible. And it's not like it's money out of your own pocket. It's really something that is really something that's truly remarkable when you see these people complain about having to go do their jobs. If you don't like it, don't run. If you don't want to do the crime, if you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. Is that the thing? Yeah, I think so. Another person who's really upset is Sarah McBride. He, she, they, they're very upset. Sarah McBride, she said something, or he said something, or they said something that to me, I got to be honest with you, I was really impressed with this quote. I thought she stole a line from Ronald Reagan and they made it their own.
Hi, everybody.
Wait, that's not it. It's here.
Do they even care? Every yes vote
shows very clearly that they don't. This bill is trickle-down cruelty, and people will die because of it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Wow. Trickle-down cruelty.
Bill is trickle-down cruelty, and people will die because of it.
It's trickle-down cruelty, and people will die because of this one big, beautiful bill. People are going to die. Who's going to die? I don't understand what part of this bill is going to cause death to people. What is trickling down from the cruelty? And trickle-down cruelty, by the way, means that there's cruelty at the top tier, and then the cruelty trickles down. I don't know. I don't see anything in this bill that equates to trickle-down cruelty or cruelty in any way, shape, or form. I don't see anything in this bill that shows that the top tier of people are going to be treated cruelly, or anyone below them is going to experience cruelty as a result. You know what I see? I see a lot of people with a lot more money in their pockets. I see a lot of people with a lot more spending and investments. I see a lot of people who are starting small businesses who are able to make bigger deductions for the equipment that they spend or the advertising dollars or anything else. I see a lot of people who work for taxable tips or taxable overtime who aren't going to be taxed. I see babies like Kat Kamex who are going to be getting $1,000 in a brand new Trump account as soon as they're born, which can then grow, and then the interest rate will accrue, and all of a sudden they're going to have a head start in life financially, when before they didn't have that. I'm going to see a golden dome built around the United States of America to protect us from the growing threat of intercontinental ballistic warfare and drone warfare and intergalactic warfare. The Chinese have spacecraft that can shoot up in the air and come down anywhere in the world within minutes. And Donald Trump is building a golden dome to protect us. I see a boost in the pay and the bonus structure for Border Patrol agents and American military personnel. Oh, that's so cruel. It's so cruel to pay our fighting men and women more. It's so cruel to pay the people who are securing our border and deporting illegal immigrant criminal aliens. That's cruel to give them more money. Trickle-down cruelty. It's a cute phrase, but just like her sexual identity, it's a little inaccurate. Jamie Raskin, by the way, this guy hasn't even read this guy doesn't even know what's in the bill. Jamie Raskin, who for a brief shining moment in time became the face of the Democrat Party before AOC ripped it back out from under them. And isn't it interesting to me that you've got all these Democrats in the Senate, you've got all these Democrats running around, but it's the House of Representatives that really sets the scene for the future of the Democrat Party. And if it's not AOC, it's Hakeem Jeffries. And if it's not Hakeem Jeffries, it's Sarah McBride. If it's not Sarah McBride, it's Jasmine Crockett. It's all these radical left-wing lunatic representatives who are vying for the top spot in the Democrat Party. And Jamie Raskin is one of them. But this dude doesn't even know what's in the bill. Listen to this. He was on CNN, which is like preaching to the choir. This is a softball question. And Jamie Raskin can't even answer a question about whether or not he supports no tax on tips. You know why? He ain't read the bill.
No taxes on tips, which is part of this bill for working people who work on a tipped wage. Do you support that?
You know, I haven't looked seriously at it because I haven't thought they were serious about it.
Wait, I haven't looked seriously at no tax. I didn't think they were serious. What is this guy? What is he talking about? This no tax on tips is the one issue that unified President Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, or I don't know what, you know the one, you know the thing. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump both were pushing no tax on tips. Donald Trump created it. Kamala Harris realized it was a pretty good issue, so she stole it. But no tax on tips is a bipartisan issue. Nobody should be unfamiliar with no tax on tips. I mean, Donald Trump mentioned it a year ago. It became a central part of his economic policy. It became a central part of Kamala Harris's economic policy. We've been talking about no tax on tips for months. This was in the first bill. This is the second time this is coming to the House of Representatives. This bill was in the House of Representatives in late May. They voted on it. Jamie Raskin knew no tax on tips was part of it. He knew no tax on overtime was part of it. He voted on it anyway. He voted no. It went to the Senate. They basically decimated it. They changed it. They made it weird. It came back to the House of Representatives, and Jamie Raskin still hasn't read it. Hakeem Jeffries is out there just schlocking a whole bunch of you-know-what, trying to detract, trying to deter, trying to stop this thing from happening, from moving forward when it's inevitable right now. And Jamie Raskin hasn't even read this bill. Maybe he could take some time, since Hakeem Jeffries is taking off. Like, Hakeem Jeffries is giving everybody some extra time to read the bill. So if you haven't read the bill, maybe Jamie Raskin or anyone else out there who hasn't, now's a great time to do it. While this guy's in hour 8, he's almost to hour 9. Take some time, read the bill, figure out what it is you're voting against.
It's a difficult part of the movement. Dr. King, after they've been targeted, arrested, beaten, harassed by the authorities.
He's into Martin Luther King Jr.
He traveled to Brooklyn, New York.
Yes. Brooklyn.
And spoke at the Concord Baptist Church. I think it was in March of 1956.
Thank God he's got those long dramatic pauses.
And he said to a group of people.
That really helps him with his filibuster.
Of every race, every religion, every life experience.
At the Concord Baptist Church, there were people of
Concord
every religion?
Baptist Church in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
And there were people of every religion there? I doubt that.
Said to them, no matter what the odds.
Yeah.
We've got to press on. Dr. King said that if you can't fly, run.
That's right.
If you can't run, walk.
Wrong. And if you can't
If
walk,
you can't walk, crawl.
crawl. I remember this.
But at all times, press on.
I don't remember it. I wasn't there, but I remember hearing this.
And keep pressing. And so as I take my seat, I just want to say
he's taking
to the
seat.
American people
that
no matter what the outcome is on this singular day,
we're catching it live. This is exciting.
We're going to press on.
Hey!
We're going to press on.
Yay!
We're going to press on.
Yeah! Press like the nails.
We're going to press on for our children.
For our children.
Press on for our seniors.
For our seniors.
Press on for our veterans.
For our veterans.
Press on for our unions.
For our unions.
Press on for our farmers.
Farmers.
Press on for our dreamers.
Dreamers.
Press on for working class Americans.
Working class Americans.
Press on for the middle class.
Middle class.
Press on for all who aspire to be part of the middle class.
All who aspire to be part of the middle
poor.
class. The poor.
Press on for the sick.
The sick.
Press on for the afflicted.
Afflicted.
Press on for the least.
Least.
Press on for the lost.
Lost.
Press on for the left behind.
Left behind.
Press on for the rule of law.
The rule
Press
of law.
on for the American way of life.
The American way
Press
of life.
on for democracy.
Democracy.
We're going to press on.
Press on.
Until victory is won.
Woo!
I yield back.
Oh, yay, look at that. He's done. He's done. It's over. Oh, that's amazing. Great. What are they saying, Hakeem? That's great. It's over. He's done. Somebody let the man urinate. Oh, they're so proud of him. They're so proud of him. Timu Obama spoke for almost 9 hours. Timu Obama spoke for 9 hours on the floor. Hey, this is not Cory Booker. Cory Booker went for 25 hours for no reason whatsoever. Hakeem Jeffries, he gave it a good run. He got to almost 9 hours. And now he's finally done. And all these people are hugging and they're applauding, and they didn't do anything. They just sat there watching. This is kind of funny. Anyway, so earlier today, I got a text message. I was writing back and forth with one of my friends in Congress, and I wrote, "Hi, are you passing a bill today?" And they wrote back, "If Hakeem will zip it." And I wrote back, "Why don't you just pull the fire alarm? That's what the Democrats do." But it turns out that wasn't necessary because Hakeem, for the sick, for the afflicted, for democracy, for the farmers, for the people. Hakeem. All right, let's get order. Can we get order back?
Massachusetts.
All right, here we go. Let's get some order back in this place. Let's get some order.
You don't need to take an hour. Eight hours.
Yeah. I think we're done. Anyway, that was exciting. That was fun. I was so glad that we were there to see him wrap up because I didn't know how much longer it was going to go. But just a little less than 9 hours. A little less than 9 hours is all that guy could handle. And now it's done, which means that the one big, beautiful bill. It's great big, it's one big, it's all big. It's a huge bill. The one big, beautiful bill is now going to head to the House of Representatives. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. But before I do that, I have to thank a couple people because look at this. We got a super chat from Jeff Tim. Tim dropped us a $5 super chat and wrote, "Fight, Mark, fight. Make sure your town meetings have a security check for your voters in our district." Of course, I would not do a town hall meeting without the appropriate security there. I have faith in our people, but I don't also have faith in the left. And I know that they would do whatever they can to try to thwart our efforts to make America great again. So yes, when I become Congressman Mark Kaye and I come back down to Duval, when I come back down to St. Johns County, when I come back down to the 5th District of Florida to hold town hall meetings with my constituents who elected me and put me in the office to represent them, I will 100% have security in place. Also, thank you, Jeff, for that. That's very generous. Also, man, I got to tell you, every time somebody goes to my shop, Mark Kaye Shop, and purchases a piece of clothing, whether it be a Gulf of America hoodie or one of the brand new and very popular Alligator Alcatraz t-shirts and hoodies and mugs and hats and everything else that we have going on, I get a little notification on my phone. And these things have been so popular, my phone has been dinging off the hook. It's like ding, 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 ding. And I was sitting at the beach and my phone's going ding, ding, ding. My wife goes, "Who's texting you?" And I said, "It's the Katriots." And she said, "What are the Katriots texting you for?" I said, "They're not texting me. They're grabbing their Alligator Alcatraz merch." And she said, "What is that?" And I said, "Let me show you," because she's been in vacay mode. But the Alligator, that's not it. That's the Mark Kaye Show Saves the Republic merch. But the Alligator Alcatraz merch, when Donald Trump went and toured Alligator Alcatraz, we came up with a brand new original line of Alligator Alcatraz clothing, and it's very popular. It's got the official Alligator Alcatraz logo with the alligator, smiling alligator ice agent in the middle. There's all kinds of fashion colors. This yellow is very popular. The blue is very popular. The pink is very popular. We also have women's tees. If you prefer the women's cut tee, you can get one of those, and they're also very popular. We have dark mode, so you can get it in black. You can get it in, there's navy blue. There's all kinds of things. We have hood. Oh, the baby onesie. I knew the baby onesie. When you have a cute little alligator and it says Alligator Alcatraz, I knew that the MAGA babies would love this. So if you have a MAGA baby, or if you're going to have, you know what, I should probably send one of these to Kat Kamek now that I think about it. But these Alligator Alcatraz onesies, very, very popular. And people, they love their babies to be conservative as well. There's hats and mugs and hoodies. I really love the safety yellow hoodie. I think safety yellows, it's such a hot color now. Everybody really enjoys it. And we've got blue and pink and white and the traditional heather gray. But if you want any Alligator Alcatraz merch, go to markkaysshop.com. markkaysshop.com. The link is in the description of this video. And don't forget to use coupon code GATOR, because coupon code GATOR is going to allow you to save 10% on your entire order. Not just the Alligator Alcatraz merch, but whatever you order, you're going to save 10%. markkaysshop.com is where you need to go for that. And we'll get it out to you right away. All right, so the one big beautiful bill is going to pass. Now that Hakeem Jeffries has zipped it, we can move on to what's going to be very exciting, and that is the passage of the bill. And once the bill passes, which we believe it will, even with Thomas Massie, even with Representative Fitzpatrick, even with whoever else may be a holdout, now that the bill is going to be passing, there's going to be a big celebration tomorrow at the White House. The White House is planning for this thing to be signed, and they're planning on it to be signed tomorrow at 9 a.m. Donald Trump, he put forth a deadline. He put forth a deadline of July 4th for this bill to be signed, and that is exactly when he wants it to be signed. If they vote on it today, which it appears they're going to be doing, then it will be ready for Donald Trump's signature tomorrow, and that will be one of the greatest 4th of July presents this country has ever known. It's not the 250th anniversary yet, but it's close. It's the 249th anniversary of the birth of this country, and what a better way to celebrate than to sign the one big beautiful bill. And it looks like there's a lot of people, by the way, who are excited now, especially since Hakeem Jeffries has finally shut up. And one of them is one of our favorites, and that is Hassett, Kevin Hassett, who is the director of the National Economic Council, who's talking about how President Donald Trump and the rest of Republicans, because this has really been a joint effort. A lot of people from the White House and a lot of Donald Trump's economic advisors and a lot of folks who have just been, around this legislation for a long time have been able to go in and sell this bill to the holders.
As good a bill as I've ever seen. This is the best, most beautiful tax bill in American history. There isn't even a second place that's close because it's going to create so many jobs. It's going to add $10,000 into the pockets of the typical American family. It's going to put millions and millions of more people to work. And it's going to help seniors who want to make a little more money than their Social Security is giving them right now work a little bit part-time and have more money in their pockets as well.
Okay,
so every single thing about this bill is like supercharging the economy. And you don't really have to believe me, Sandra. Just look at the data today. They had a huge job number today since President Trump's in office, because people are anticipating all the positive economic effects of his policies, that we've created more than 2 million jobs for U.S. residents, and everybody said that while we were deporting the illegals, that it would make it so that there wouldn't be any jobs, there wouldn't be any production, we'd have a recession, and we've actually cut non-resident employment by 500,000 at the same time. And so we're creating all these jobs. We just got advanced durables numbers today that showed that there's a capital spending boom as well. So this is as good as it gets for an economy, and it's as beautiful a bill as I can imagine.
Let me dig.
Okay, so when you look at what's happening with this one big beautiful bill, and people saying it's not going to, we're going to have an explosion in the deficit, we're going to have this, that, and the other. What Kevin Hassett is saying is before the one big beautiful bill has even been signed, we've seen amazing economic growth. We've seen job numbers that have exploded. We've seen income that has exploded. We've seen benefits for workers that have exploded. We've seen prices come down. Gas prices are down. Prices on eggs are down. There's more manufacturing. Jobs are already coming in. And this is before the one big beautiful bill. Think about what's going to happen once the one big beautiful bill is signed into law and it becomes the economic, again, to steal a line from Hakeem Jeffries, steroids that have been promised. Imagine, you look at all the border activity. Donald Trump just posted yesterday on Truth Social how we have the lowest border numbers in history. That's before the one big beautiful bill. Now we're going to have even more. We're going to have sustained
Manu
investments.
wasn't the only one.
Oh, why is Hakeem Jeffries talking about it? We're going to have extended investment. Hold on, let me shut this guy up. We're going to have extended investment in border security, in deportation, in building the border wall. And all of that is going to make sure that not only do we have the kind of border protection we have now, but it's going to be drastically increased. We're going to see it on rocket fuel. It's going to be pumped up. It's going to be on steroids. A deportation machine on steroids, to steal a line from Hakeem Jeffries. And that is something that is truly incredible. And that is something that is going to be nothing but great for the United States of America. Let's see what Scott Bessent was on with Maria Bartiromo. And here is what he said about the bill that we know is going to be passed a little later on today. Let me go back over here and we'll take a listen to Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary.
This is what leadership looks like. It's President Trump's leadership united the Republican Party. Everyone had their say, and now everyone's coming together. And look, this is an exciting bill. It combines the best of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act with President Trump's campaign promises for working Americans: no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, lower taxes on Social Security, deductibility of American-made cars, along with the president's agenda on the border, on school choice, on defense. And only President Trump could have gotten this into one big, beautiful bill and gotten it to his desk on July 4th. So we are going to sign this and then start the 250th anniversary of our country.
I mean, think about that. Think about what Scott Bessent's saying there. He's saying Donald Trump did this. He's going to sign it. And on that day, it's going to be the lead up. It's going to be the beginning. He's lighting the fuse for the 250th anniversary celebration of our country with the one big beautiful bill, a bill that only he could pass, a bill that is going to have a dramatic change, a life-altering change for the future of the United States of America. And it's going to happen immediately. And one of the best things about this one big beautiful bill being signed, when it's being signed, is that you're going to see a lot of economic happenings and a lot of economic, a big boost in the economy before the midterms. And that's great because the Republicans are going to need all the help they can get into the midterms. The Republicans are going to need all the help they can get heading into 2026 to ward off I don't even know if these people are a threat anymore. I don't even know if these people are a threat because it's just been ridiculous how they've decimated their own party and how nobody trusts them anymore and how nobody really wants to vote for a Democrat. But they're going to pump as much money as they can into what's happening. They're going to pump as much money as they can into these different elections, and they are going to try to get as many seats as they can and take back power so that they can oust Donald Trump, or at least try to impeach him once again. Let's listen in quickly. Mike Johnson speaking.
My friends, that is an objective truth. Hey, listen, how about all the wins for the president and this party? Here's just a sample from the last 2 weeks. The headline today will be, "The One Big Beautiful Bill Passes the Congress," okay? You got to hold your applause. There's too many wins. Are you tired of winning yet? No! Fourth jobs report in a row exceeds expectations. A sample of the headlines. Lowest monthly border encounters in U.S. history. We closed the border. Last couple of days, a new trade deal with Vietnam and all the countries of the world around the world lining up for that. UPenn agrees to ban biological men from women's sports.
That's a big win. That's a big win for sure.
And they ought to give a personal apology to every female athlete impacted by that nonsense. Gas prices are at a 4-year low, my friends. The Air Force and Space Force both hit their 2025 recruiting goals 3 months early. Israel is agreeing to a 60-day ceasefire with Hamas. Successful strike on Iranian nuclear sites handles that problem. That's exactly right. Strength is back. America's back. It's resulted now in a ceasefire deal between Iran and Israel. The NATO countries are increasing their defense spending, not just 2%, 5% of GDP, okay? The president got in charge and got a Rwanda-Congo peace deal. The Supreme Court ended nationwide injunctions. How about that? That conservative majority on the Supreme Court also allows third country deportations. We've had a record high stock market, and we're signing a China trade deal. That's just the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks. So many simple truths to share, and so little time to do it, because I want everybody to have a break here. But I just want to say this. It's really nice to hear my Democrat colleagues suddenly take an interest in working Americans again. Did you pick up on that theme today? Let's be clear. Working Americans stopped trusting Democrats a long time ago. That is a fact. They're looking to this side of the chamber. They're looking to the Republican Party and our principles to deliver the relief and the reform that they have long demanded and they most certainly deserve. This big, beautiful bill fulfills all the promises of the America First agenda. It is the people's bill. It is made for and shaped by the most diverse coalition of American voters in American history.
That is not inaccurate. That is a true statement for sure.
Today, we are making the dream of a government that puts the American people first a reality. A reality. I would need this entire notebook to tell you all the great things in the big, beautiful bill. It is aptly named, but I'll just tell you a couple of the highlights. Record tax cuts for hardworking Americans.
That's a good one.
Historic savings at the same time to end reckless spending. We got energy dominance coming back to power our future. We have a secure border to protect American families. We have a strong military to restore peace through strength. And we have a government that is now accountable and responsive to the people once again. That's what we're delivering. For everyday Americans, this means real, positive change that they can feel, and they will feel much more when this bill is done. Families back home will have real relief, an average of $10,000 in their pockets, thanks to the largest working and middle-class tax cut in the history of this great nation. That's what we're doing today. You got hardworking Americans like our waiters and our bellhops and our hairstylists. They're going to keep 100% of their tips and overtime pay. That is money they earned. It does not belong to the government. It belongs to them, and they deserve to keep it. Small businesses that want to build and expand new factories, you know what they can do now? They can write off 100% of their investment. That will have us a lot more building. Young families who want to buy a home will be able to, thanks to historic savings that will put our country on a stronger financial footing. Pregnant women, children, seniors, single mothers, the disabled, and the low-income Americans among us receiving Medicaid and SNAP will have the peace of mind of knowing that we've made these safety nets stronger with our reforms. See, when Republicans are in charge, we bring common sense. We're going to make sure that Americans who do need and deserve those critical programs won't have to compete against people who can work but choose not to do so. That's not right. This bill is going to put fairness back in the system. We are returning to common sense. We're returning to what is good and decent that people know in their hearts, and that's why they support it. More Americans will be working, volunteering, and serving their communities because modest, common sense work requirements will restore dignity and purpose to those on taxpayer-funded benefits. The bill will also mean that safer streets are available in every zip code around the country because our border will remain fully and totally secure.
I mean, he's playing the hits. He's hitting all the highlights, and he's talking about exactly what this bill is going to do. That is good.
The Republican Party stands for law and order, and this is the side that stands with law enforcement, the brave men and women who are on the front line.
Also true. The Democrats throw rocks at law enforcement and fireworks.
The idea that those who put their own lives on the line to protect us would be assaulted for doing their jobs is unconscionable. Law enforcement, I know you agree. I know, amen. Law enforcement. Law enforcement will have the help of a border wall now that's 100% complete. Yeah! Our immigration enforcement officers will get a boost from more manpower and resources and detention space so that detained illegal aliens are not released back into the streets like they were for the last 4 years. And our homeland can rest soundly again under the protection of President Trump's Golden Dome. That's what we're investing in.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Golden Dome, always have been.
Look, any of these individual achievements would be historic victories for a Republican Congress or any Congress. And today we're delivering on all of them in one big, beautiful bill.
The one big,
That's
beautiful
what Americans
bill.
can count on when we pass this legislation, and that's exactly what Democrats will vote to oppose today.
That's an important point.
We didn't write this bill for the Democratic Party or the elites or the media. This bill is for hardworking Americans, and they deserve it.
That's a great point, too, because every Democrat is going to vote against this bill, and that means every Democrat is going to vote against cutting taxes and securing the border and the Golden Dome and everything else.
I'm going to just say this as plainly as I can. This is a simple truth. If you're for a secure border, safer communities, and a strong military, this bill is for you. If you're for common sense fiscal responsibility and reducing the deficit, this bill is for you.
They're doing a great job of selling it as.
If you're for fair and lower taxes, bigger paychecks, affordable gas and groceries, and restoring dignity to hard work, this is the bill for you.
Yeah. Great job of selling anybody who votes against this as totally anti-American, which, let's face it, they are, so it's not a real tough sell.
It makes no difference whether our colleagues on the across the chamber speak for 25 minutes or 25 hours. They can't change the truth. And today was about performance for some of them. But today for us is about results. Results that improve the lives of Americans, regardless of their race, religion, color, or creed. It does not matter.
Nope.
I tell you what, Ronald Reagan used to remind us you can always trust the American people, and we do trust the American people, and they can discern the difference. What they saw on display here today is that Democrats deliver performances and Republicans deliver results.
This is a very good speech by Mike Johnson. I wonder who wrote it. This could be the best speech I've ever heard Mike Johnson give.
Today, my friends, we are ready now. We are going to deliver what we were sent here to do, and every American will benefit from it. In 1793, just steps from where we stand today, President George Washington laid the first cornerstone of the United States Capitol. Over 50 years later, on July 4th again, members of this body gathered once again to lay a second cornerstone. Once more on July 4th, at the height of the Cold War, Congress laid a third cornerstone. And this week, with this vote today, on our nation's birthday being tomorrow, we lay a fourth. With this bill, we can vote as stewards of that great legacy that we have inherited in this extraordinary nation that we are blessed to live in. We can lay another sturdy foundation for the future of this country, a future where working Americans can feel relief, where government can finally start living within its means again, and where the United States is safer, stronger, and more prosperous than ever before. That's right. Now, I'm going to say this as they mock America and mock everything and mock the bill. We'll see how the people feel about that.
Yeah.
So listen, seriously, as friends and colleagues, really, across the aisle, what we celebrate tomorrow is the nation's birthday. Let's put the politics aside for a minute, and let's reflect on our blessings. No kidding, really. Tomorrow is the 249th birthday of our nation, and that's right.
USA! 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 USA!
Look at Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise is trying to start the USA chant.
USA!
All right.
USA! USA!
I'll bite. USA! USA! Okay. Thank you. All right, sit down, Steve. All right.
I mean this sincerely. I thank my colleagues for standing. We all should be united in that. We are. We have squabbles. We have partisan debates and all of this. But at the end of the day, we're all Americans, man. And we gotta believe that. We gotta know it. We gotta recognize that we live in the greatest nation in the history of the world. It's not even close.
That is true.
My friends and colleagues, we are so blessed. We should not take it for granted. We live in the most free, the most successful, the most powerful, the most benevolent nation that has ever been on the face of the earth.
Despite the Democrats trying to tear it down.
The reason that we are the greatest nation is because we were built on the ultimate foundation. And the bold declaration that my friend Hakeem Jeffries articulated earlier is true. We unite under that. The bold declaration that we do hold these truths to be self-evident. What is a self-evident truth? It's something that's obvious. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. It does not say born equal. It says created equal. And that it is our Creator. Yes.
Okay, this is good and all, but I'd like a vote.
It is our Creator that gives us our rights. See, the powerful thing about that is we're the first nation in the history of the world that acknowledged that our rights do not derive from government. They come from God Himself.
That is true. God gives us our rights. All right. I'm trying to judge based on the number of pages he has left in his notebook how long the speech is going to go because I'd like the vote.
You see that those words up there, that motto. It says, "In God we trust," right above the speaker's rostrum. You know, a previous Congress put that there in the early 60s in the height of the Cold War. There's a little visitor's guide that people get when you do tours late at night. You've probably seen your constituents and visitors and friends get the guide. If you turn, I think it's about to page 21. It explains why that's there. And it says, Congress voted to put that there as a rebuke to the Soviets' worldview at the height of the Cold War. Why? Because communism, socialism, find their root in Marxism. And Marxism begins with the belief that there is no God. It's wrong. And this Congress made us stand those many years ago, and we should do it again. We're different, we're distinct, we're exceptional, because we acknowledge that right there, our motto.
Yeah, but half the Democrats are communists. Half the Democrats are Marxists. Half the Democrats don't believe in God. So they walk in there, they see "In God we trust" every day, and they're just like, puh.
It doesn't say "In government we trust." It says "In God we trust."
Yeah.
And we better remember that. He has blessed us with his grand experiment in self-governance now for almost 2.5 centuries. And by God's grace, we are working hard and we are delivering on our promise to make America great again.
All right. Yield so we can vote. Yield and let's vote. Yield and vote. Yield and
this
vote.
is without a doubt the most important vote of this Congress, and I think this may be the most important vote that any of us take in our entire lifetimes. And everybody better remember it, however you vote today. My friends, the President of the United States is waiting with his pen. The American people are waiting for this relief. We've heard enough talk. It's time for action. Let's finish the job for him. Vote yes on the bill.
Let's go. Vote yes. Vote. Come on, yield. Vote already.
With that, I yield back.
Oh, thank God. There we go. All right. Oh, that is really odd. So, all right, there you go. Mike Johnson giving the final speech. He yields back. Everybody's shaking his hand. He's saying, look.
Yields and all time for debate has expired.
Oh, thank God. No more debate on this bill. The bill debate is over. Now what's going to happen is we're going to go to the final vote. And this is exciting. We're going to be watching this live. I'm very excited for this. You got all the Democrats.
Pursuant to House Resolution 566, the previous question is ordered. The question is on the motion by the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Arrington. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to.
The ayes have it.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Massachusetts seek recognition?
He wants a recorded vote. Okay.
Vote is requested. Those favoring a recorded vote will rise. A sufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device.
Okay, so this is going to take a while. So now what's going to happen is they're going to go through, they're going to demand recorded votes, blah, 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 because they're just not going to buy that the ayes have it. So anyway, this is exciting. This vote's going to happen here. And this is on a motion to concur in the Senate amendment. 15 minutes for this vote. The yays will vote. You can see there's 75 yays. There's a couple nays in the Democrat and the Republican Party. You're going to see that. And then Democrats, there's going to be one nay change. Anyway, I'm not going to stick around for this because this vote's going to happen. This vote's going to pass. And when this vote passes, Donald Trump's going to get this bill. And tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on the 4th of July, President Donald Trump is going to sign his key piece of legislation. And this is it, folks. This is the important thing about this is it's all downhill from here for President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump wanted to get this done early. He wanted to get it done in the first 6 months of his second term. He wanted to make sure that he had everything he needed to execute on his agenda, and now he does. And by doing that, he can now focus on executing on his agenda. He can boost the economy. He can make the economy as strong as possible. He can make the border as secure as possible. He can boost the military. He can make us as super safe as we need to be. He can deport all of the illegals. He can help with our investments, our farms. He can help with education. Health and Human Services is going to be greatly relieved. The deficit is going to be cut down because not only of the mandatory savings, but because of all the investments and all of the prosperity the prosperity, I guess you would say, prospects in this bill that are going to boost our government's revenue. And when you spend $3 trillion and you bring in $5 trillion, the difference is $2 trillion. And that goes to paying down the deficit, which is what President Donald Trump promised he would do and will do once he signs this bill. Is it the perfect bill we all wanted? Nah. Who do we blame for that? John Thune in the Senate. But it's as close as we're going to get. And if Donald Trump is happy with it, if he thinks that this is the bill that's going to set up the United States of America for the rest of his lifetime and your lifetime and my lifetime, then it's a good piece of legislation. And it's exciting that it's going to be signed on July 4th. And if you think Donald Trump's first 6 months have been incredible, if you're looking around going, you know what, these have been really, this first 150 days or whatever it's been, this has been an amazing whirlwind of activity and prosperity. And President Donald Trump, you heard the wins. Mike Johnson was like, let's go through like 82 wins we've had in the last 14 days. We won in Iran. We won in the Congo. We won with the border. We won with prosperity. We won with gas prices. We won with women's sports. We won with the University of Pennsylvania, stripping Leah Thomas's records. We're winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. And all those losers over there keep losing. And now we're going to pass the one big beautiful bill. I mean, if you think the first 150 days were amazing, you're right. Imagine what the next 150 days are going to be. Imagine what the next 350 days are going to be. Imagine what the next, I don't know, what's 3.5 times, I don't even know, the next 3.5 years are going to be the most prosperous. They are going to be part of the new golden age. It's going to be thrilling to watch. And I, for one, am excited to be here with you watching it all live. And I thank you so much for tuning in today. And I thank you for tuning in every single day. And before we go, I have to thank a couple of people who slipped in some super chats while I was listening to Mike Johnson give what I thought was probably one of the best speeches he'll ever give. It's all downhill for Mike Johnson, too. After this, Mike Johnson, there's not a lot left he can do. But Faith B904 dropped us a $5 super chat and said, Happy Independence Day, Mark and Catriots, with a handful of very cool-looking patriotic emojis. And Faith B904, we appreciate you watching, we appreciate you sharing, and we appreciate you tossing the cash on Independence Day. Your support, of course, goes right back into the show. And we appreciate everything that you do for us so that we can continue to do this for you. My VA Lady Virtual Assistant Service sent us a $2 super chat and said, Mark, are you live streaming on July 4th? It's a great question. Well, I don't know. I hadn't planned on it because it is the nation's birthday and I was going to celebrate, but I may pop in at 9 a.m. and live stream the signing, because it is going to be one of the most historic moments we've ever seen in this country's history, and it is going to be on July 4th. So, TBD, my VA lady, that would be my question. That would be my answer to you. TBD. What you should do is you should make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble or Facebook, wherever you are, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you set those notifications. Make sure that you tell whatever platform you're listening to, whether it's Spotify or iTunes or any podcast platform, you want to tell them, I want this content every single day. And if you're subscribed and you set the notifications and I decide to go live at 9 a.m. when Donald Trump is signing one of the most monumental pieces of legislation in our country's history, you'll get notified and you won't miss it one little bit. Disney Up Boiler Up dropped a super chat and said, it's going to be a big, beautiful Independence Day. And that is true. And I'm excited to share it with all of you. Listen, before I go, don't forget your Alligator Alcatraz merch is waiting for you. All you have to do is go to markshop.com, markshop.com. I'll show you once again all the merchandise that's just flying off. While I was talking, while I was watching Mike Johnson, like 19 other people went and purchased T-shirts. The T-shirts are very popular. If you want, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. You want to know what the most popular item is we have? It's this yellow Alligator Alcatraz T-shirt. That's what everybody wants because it's summery, it's Florida, it's bright. You know, it's very yellow's, I think, kind of trendy. The mug is also popular, as well as the dad hat. Both are emblazoned with the alligator, the official Alligator Alcatraz logo. And you can get those at markshop.com. And also, don't forget, we've been kind of focused on the one big beautiful bill, but the congressional battle continues, and 2026 is it's going to be a blink of your eye, and we're going to be voting on the next Congress, and we're running to make serious change. We're running to make sure that we have combative conservatives in Congress in 2026. So if, God forbid, the Democrats should win control of the House of Representatives, you have people like, I don't know, this guy here fighting back every single step of the way, and we need your help. We need your support. We need to raise a big old bankroll so we can fight back when the time comes. So go to markk4congress.com and make whatever donation you want. If you make a $500 donation, I'll send you an autographed hat. I don't make those rules. That's the deal. I didn't make it up. Somebody else did. But if you want an autographed Mark K for Congress hat, all you have to do is make a $500 donation. We'll send it out to you. Well, not today because I'm at I'm at Patriot Outpost Mike Bravo. But when I get back to Patriot HQ at Mar-a-Lago, we'll package it up and we'll send it out to you. Listen, have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, we will probably pop on sometime tomorrow for Independence Day. So make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you've set the notifications and make sure you're ready, because you never know when some new information is going to drop, when there's something you're going to need to be prepared for, when you're going to have some kind of new development. And I'll be there to bring it to you, because together, if we all stick together, if we all stay informed, if we all stay inspired, if we all stay enlightened, and if we all have a lot of fun doing it, then we will every single day wake up prepared, ready, and well armed to fight, so we can save the Republic. Oh, look at that. Someone just got some alligator. All right, I got to go. Someone just got some alligator Alcatraz merch. I got to go take care of that. Have a fantastic rest of your night. I'm going to go watch the vote. The vote is going to be happening soon. I'm going to grab another pina colada and